is life about? What is Allah? How do I draw closer to Allah? And the story we hear about often, when he would sit in the cave of Hira and he would contemplate these different concepts. And we realize that these are the things ultimately from that introspection was built his deep relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And sometimes we lose track of this in our very busy modern lives, that we're running from here to there. I think in Ramadan we realize how fleeting time is, that you go to work, you go to school, and then you come home and it's only a very short time until iftar time, and then you're eating, and then you have to pick up it, and then right when you get to have a little bit of a meal, and then the week is starting, you have to rub there, and then you're going to spend an hour and a half, and then you have to go sleep because I have work the next day, I have school the next day. And the weekends you get a little bit of a break, but there's a constant moving. And the question comes up, are we focusing on our tadabbur? Are we focusing on our self-reflection, sitting there and focusing on our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And it was from this reflection that we see from the Sunnah of the Prophet maybe he will reflect on his life and his connection to Allah. SubhanAllah, if we look deeply into the life of the Prophet, we kind of piece together this very interesting relationship that the Prophet had with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That there were three different dimensions that the Prophet used to get close to Allah, and inshallah, it's a bit of a roadmap that if we follow these three strategies, these three tips, we can use them to build our relationship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I want to give you the quick example. We like to call this the Islamic threat. Right? If you play basketball, it's a concept that you're familiar with. But if someone passes you the ball, there's three potentialities you could do. You could pass it, you could shoot it, or you could drive. If you're a dynamic player, you can get to do all three of these things with the ball constantly. Similarly, if you want to apply these concepts and strategies to Islam, we realize something, that if you want to be a dynamic Muslim, that there's three ways you can use to draw closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We take a very, very interesting point that these three strategies are tied directly to the Quran and the very first revelations that came to the Prophet. In the very early part of the Seerah, you're on the very first pages in your Seerah book, and these are the ayat that are coming down. First, the ayat that we hear about very, very often in Surah Al-Alaq, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals the Prophet in the cave of the angel Jibreel, by the a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, bismillahir rahmanir rahim, iqra bismi rabbikal ladhi khalaq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Prophet iqra. He said to read. He said, read in the name of your Lord who hath created. SubhanAllah, we are seeing the very first things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose to reveal to humanity, and probably over 600 years was not about to salah, to zakat, to do hajj. The first thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose to reveal in the final revelations was to read. We're seeing a direct connection to knowledge. That you don't know anything unless you know yourself, and we must have that knowledge of ourselves. We must understand our relationship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? One of the beautiful things about Islam is that it outlines everything for us for our relationship with Allah. We don't need philosophers to sit on the mountain and say, you know what, I feel like this will move me close to Allah, or maybe this. No. If we look in the Seerah, if we look in the Sunnah, we'll find what things we can do that we pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this comes from the knowledge and our connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we never separate that knowledge from our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we will realize that seeking of knowledge, it never ends. It doesn't finish inside our life. It's not like you're going through your life and there's just one dua, or just one verse in the Quran to remember the law. That's it. I memorized this one verse, that's done. It's never like that, because if we think about it, we look at people that do their memorization of the Quran. We have a lot that are young. They're young, 10 years old, 7 years old, and we think that's it. They memorize the Quran and they're done. This starts our journey. Even those of us who maybe they're many, many decades older, 40, 50, 60 years old, our journey doesn't end. Constantly a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of Allah, and that's the conversation that we have. A good reminder in Ramadan that we sit in Tarawih and we listen to ayat being recited in Tarawih, something for us to learn, something for us to reflect upon. Even if you don't review the entire thing in language you understand, open a translation and try to understand, open a tafsir and try to understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us. interesting point that we take away is that when Isa Islam came to the Prophet Islam came and he told him, Iqra, the Prophet replied, he said, I'm here. I'm not someone who's capable of reading, right? And still, the verse came again, Iqra, again came to the Prophet. Finally, until the ayat, the revelation came from the Prophet and the beginning ayat of Surah Allah revealed. SubhanAllah, for us to think about that because sometimes we go through our lives, we face similar obstacles. We sit here and we say things like, it's too hard. Doing this is too hard. I give you an example. My mother, mashallah, she felt like her generation and she was growing up,
Udah dapat kan? Ya bilang dong. Ilmu nya nak. Plastik untuk maksudnya nak.
Tes. Tes. Hah? Bukan.
People talk about the 5 prayers of the day and they say, brother, this is too hard to pray. I'm busy, I got school, I got work, I got these things going on in my life. I can't do the prayer, it's not possible. But we realize that the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what we can put on us and it is what we think is impossible.
Coba. Tes. Masih.
What we realize is that things that we have always thought of being impossible become possible and become easy in our life. And ultimately, the help comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Khutbah, that the victory of Allah, is close. It is near. You have to just reach for it, work for it, not even wrong. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that we learn from the Sunnah of the Prophet, if you go towards Allah, a hand's length, Allah subhanahu will come towards you, an arm's length. If you go towards Allah walking, Allah will come towards you running. If you show a little bit of effort to start the process, Allah will finish it for you. So inshallah, what we talk about that is different ways that we can work and have this relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the first of these 3 dimensions, these 3 strategies you can use to come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to give you a spoiler of the entire khutbah, we talk first about knowledge, and then we're going to talk about spirituality, and then we're going to talk about action. These are the 3 keys that we're going to work on from the Quran to draw closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And inshallah, in the city, between the 2 khutbahs, make dua for yourself and make dua for your community, and remember that there's a higher chance of your dua being accepted as you are fasting, so make dua for all of us. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم إن الله غفور رحيم. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. ثم أما بعد. Inshallah, I want to jump to that next point. First, we talked about knowledge. What's the second strategy that we can do to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is spirituality. That means spiritual connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we see this in what some scholars say is the second revelation that came from the Prophet that we look into the Muzammil, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها المزمل قم الليل إلا قليلا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to the Prophet, فيصلي الظهر بعد get up in the night, except for a little. Right? We're talking about night prayer, we're talking about tahajjud, these types of prayer that are being prescribed to the prophets, that we want to have this deep relationship with spirituality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we know that the work he is doing is it's going to be a difficult task coming from the Prophet. And what we realize from that is that if you're spending your days doing the dawah, doing Islamic work, I'm volunteering in the masjid, I'm helping with this charity, I'm doing this, or I'm doing the normal things that I do in my life to support my family, and I go to my job, or I have to study for my school. You're doing them, right? But where's your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? We talk about how you love with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Should you not set time aside for your lover, for the one that has deep, intimate love with you? You ignore them all day and all night and come to them once in a while. When you spend the day in the dunya, when you spend the day doing the work that you do, spend that night with the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because we look in a hadith where the Prophet spoke about his wife, and she would sit there, and she's his wife, they live together. He stays up all night, does all these hours with these qiyam, doing all these long prayers. And then she asked him, it's early in the night, maybe it's like midnight, 1 a.m. Why don't you go to sleep and then you wake up later, wake up like at 3 or at 4 and then pray for like an hour? Why don't you pray a little bit later? And that's the response. What they said is very powerful. And he said that the time for sleep is over. Because we don't work done with the time for sleep, because now we have working. Now the time that I want the relationship is the time that I have this conversation with my Lord, and I want to feel that sweetness and that love and that prayer. And the thing is, some of us may say, I stand in prayer. I stand in prayer, I go home, I don't feel that what you're talking about. And the way I don't feel that sweetness, and ultimately something for us to work on, and how do we work on that turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, say, I stand in prayer and working on that, but I'm not feeling the sweetness in that prayer, that they come towards you, things that we can work on with Allah. And ultimately look at that narration from Umar, the second Khalifa in Islam, when during his Khilafah, during his reign, he would say that my days I spend for the Muslims. I organize them, leading them, doing all political things, infrastructural things, and tax policy, and food policy, doing all that type of thing. But my nights are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because that relationship that you need is built on that spiritual development. One of my teachers talked about this. He said that sometimes, that we look at sometimes communities become hyper-focused on one thing. That we look at that this community, they only want to do spirituality, or this community only want to do action. But if you don't have that connection, you get problems. So my teacher mentioned to him that when you look at this, that if you look at people that have knowledge, that if you have knowledge of that spirituality, it leads to corruption. Because you'll just study all these books and you'll find out all the loopholes and the things, and you'll find out all these issues and just doing everything, and it's not really Islam at the end. That spirituality to keep you grounded, to understand that is maybe the easy option, this is another easy option, but if you put them together, it kind of breaks the whole system. So you can't ever have to focus on one thing and understand that Islam is not just one thing, that we must have a connection between all of them. And now we did a little bit of a PSA, and we say one thing that from the hadith of the Prophet that he said, my servant, us, the Muslims, does not draw closer to me, does not draw closer to Allah, except by the Quran, except by the five mandatory pillars that we see, the prayer, the five mandatory prayer, the fasting, the Ramadan, paying our zakat, working on that. And then if they do all that, then add the sunnah, and then add the Ramadan, then adding extra things. SubhanAllah, let us prioritize our limited time in Ramadan. Because sometimes we see people, they pray all of the Taraweeh, but they end up missing Fajr, right? Understand that the priority is not the same. If you're praying all of the Taraweeh and you're sacrificing your Fajr, you just go home. Just pray Isha, go home, sleep, wake up early, make sure your Fajr is on. The things that we're struggling with, let us focus on. Talk about Ramadan being a training session. Let us make it a training session. Spend 1 Ramadan, 2 Ramadan, that's it, just working on your prayer. That's it. Don't do your Taraweeh, don't do the Sunnah. Just focus on my prayers. Get them down 2 years or 3 years, then start adding extra things. But remember that there's our pride that takes priority over the different things that we do. SubhanAllah. And what we want to talk about now is the third point of action to draw closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third thing that we talk about is action. We talk about knowledge, we talk about spirituality, now let's talk about action that needs to take place. And some scholars describe this as the third revelation of the Prophet. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He says, again, oh, he's wrapped up, stand and warn. Oh, stand, get up from your bed. And then go and deliver the message, warn the people about the different things. And subhanAllah, what we realize is that this is something that we have to work on. Once we have our basic knowledge of Islam, right? And we're not saying you have to become a scholar. If you do, that's great. But the basic things you have to do, basic things, the further meaning of the things that an individual has known, how to pray, how to do your zakat, if you're making money, if you don't have money, don't worry about that right now. If you're how to pass, all the basic rules, we should have that down. Then we talk about having a spirituality and a deep connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe you can read a book about how good salah is without putting it into implementation and having that spiritual connection. There's a problem because I'm sure if you drive down to UCLA or to USC, you'll have professors who have PhDs in Islamic studies, and they know that Islamic books better than any of us. They can't taste the sweetness because they didn't have the knowledge, but they lack the spirituality and the connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So finally, the point one takeaway is this idea of action, of putting into action the things that we have. And subhanAllah, that we realize that not just praying and fasting and doing individual things, right? But we also talk about integrating with our community and helping the Muslims around us, right? What does this mean? I heard a beautiful khutbah a few Fridays ago from Brother Rashid Lala from North Hollywood. He was mentioning something. How many of us are so entitled that we come to the masjid and we say, well, the bathroom has to be clean. The iftar has to be set up perfectly, right? Everything has to be vacuumed. But how many of us have gone to the masjid leadership and said, Assalamu alaikum, what can I do? Can I vacuum the masjid today? Can I set up the iftar? Can I come a little bit early and set up the tables? Can I make sure the parking is good? Can I come and say, what does the masjid need? I know the expenses are high. Do you need water bottles? Do you need paper towels? Do you need toilet paper? I can come buy it from Costco and give it to you. SubhanAllah, we forget our own action. We come to the masjid to consume and we don't think, how can we serve our communities? There's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that says that a person with good character can be at the same level as someone who fasts all day and prays all night. And so subhanAllah, how can you say that? Just having good akhlaq? How does that make any sense? And the scholars, they comment and they say, because the people that have good character, they integrate with the community. You can't have good character alone in a closet. That doesn't work. You have to talk, you have to be with someone, a second person, show them good character, having good adab with them, right? But if you pray and fast, you can do that alone in a closet and not affect the other community. So I say having that good akhlaq, that is what puts you on the same level as the other person. SubhanAllah. And then we see that Prophet ﷺ says the believer that engages the other believer and has patience and bears the harm that comes as a result, that this is better for that person, right? SubhanAllah. And why do we say that? Because if you're coming to the masjid, right, you came for Juma'h today, right? Inshallah, you come for Tarawih, you come for iftar, and you hang out with everyone. There's a lot of different people here. People have different egos and different tempers, and maybe someone's had a really bad day, and the parking was terrible, and they have a huge issue, and they're there, and they may be really rude, they may be mean, they may be short with you, but to have good akhlaq with them, that's what makes you better. That's why in Islam, we don't have monks. This monasticism, we don't have that. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to go to the San Gabriel Mountains and go find a cave and go sit in there. I'm going to be a good Muslim. That's not how Islam works, right? Islam is a team sport. You have to be with the other Muslims. We have to pray in Juma'h. We have to be here in Jum'ah. We have to pray the 5 prayers in Jama'ah if we can. We should be fasting together, praying Tarawih together, doing Hajj together, right? Communal activities, because the akhlaq is what tests you. Right? And we know from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that the best of people are the people that are best to their families. Why? Because sometimes if you master the akhlaq, if you got to the point where you have good character in the masjid, maybe you go home and you're a terrible person. Maybe you're really mean to your wife and really rude to your kids, and your kids are like, oh man, dad's home, I don't want to talk to him. Oh, mom's here, no one go into the living room right now, right? Because that's when you get a deeper test of your akhlaq. When the doors are closed and no one's going to see you, no one's going to talk about you because they're your family. So what relationship do we have with our community, our larger family, and what relationship do we have with our closer family? This is what we talk about the qum fa'andir, about that standing and the putting into action. Maybe we studied the hadith, we just learned it. I just told you right now to have good character, but are we going to implement that into our life is our character? Inshallah, These are the 3 points I wanted to talk about to draw us closer to Ramadan and things that draw us closer to Allah, especially we can implement them in Ramadan. First is having knowledge, and I'm talking about this big, long, studying all this deep ideas. But if you can study the Fard al-Ain, understand what you can do to draw closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the basic levels. And then after that, spirituality, having a relationship with Allah, not just the 5 basic prayers and the 5 basic pillars, but a little bit more than that. A little bit of qiyam, a little bit of reading Quran, a little bit of drawing you closer to Allah. And then the last thing we want to talk about is putting all that into action. What can we do to draw us closer to Allah and interacting with our community and having a good relationship? Inshallah, I'm going to take the last few minutes, make a little bit of a pitch, inshallah, please forgive us. But today, my name is Sayyid. If you don't know, my name is Sayyid Husseini, and today, subhanAllah, I'm here representing Islamic Relief. Islamic Relief, if you're not aware about, is the largest Islamic charity here in the West. Alhamdulillah, we've been working in over 44 countries around the world for over 30 years now, alhamdulillah, and we work with a network of other Islamic relief organizations in the country. SubhanAllah, I'm not going to take too much of your time because you already know what I'm going to say. We're aware of the tragedy that is taking place in Gaza today, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza today. So inshallah, afterwards, I'm not going to take too much of your time. I'll have a table outside in the hallway, inshallah. If you can support the people of Gaza, please come out and please help us. Please donate whatever you can to the people in need. And I want to remind you that there's a hadith that we take in the Sunan At-Tirmidhi, hadith number 1425, where the Prophet ﷺ says that whoever removes a burden from a Muslim in the dunya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will remove a burden from them in the akhirah. So whatever you can give, I'm not asking for $1 million. If you have it, great, I can go home. But if you don't, inshallah, whatever you can give, $5, $20, $100, please support us. And I'll always say this, before you give to this community, give to your community. Make sure you donate to the masjid, because again, they're running on our donations. We are the ones supporting ourselves, and we must pull ourselves up. Quickly, we end with the dua. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسْنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسْنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Ya Allah, they're amongst us, there are the sick, please give them shifa. Ya Allah, they're amongst us, there are ones that are not here today, that were with us yesterday or here as before. Please grant them maghfirah. Ya Allah, we beg you, help us to draw closer to you. Help us to understand deep knowledge. Allow us to have deep spirituality. And allow us to implement all of that with a deep action. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم آمين. أقامت الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
لا
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. استقيموا واعتدلوا. Strain the lines, strain the ranks, fill in the gaps, fill in the blanks. Inshallah. استحضروا عظمة الله في قلوبكم. Have the presence of Allah in your hearts and your prayers. الله أكبر.
الله أكبر. الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر. وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر. ليلة القدر القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده
ربنا ولك الحمد.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده
ربنا ولك الحمد.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر الله العظيم استغفر الله العظيم استغفر الله.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the khutbah from Brother Syed. He is from Islamic Belief. He exactly help us, our brother sister a lot in here in the US or outside the US. That if there is calamity, Islamic Belief help help them on any issue that they have. So to help them, inshallah. Also, they have tabel outside. You can donate to them, inshallah. Share with whatever money you have with us and with them, inshallah. So today, inshallah, this is our masjid. Alhamdulillah, well-being is depend on you and me, inshallah. And we don't do too many fundraising. And our monthly budget is, mostly about to visit about $5,000 a month. Our masjid, even though quite big, a lot of activities. We have weekend school with 70 students, and most of them, our students able to read Quran, alhamdulillah. And then, with that kind of activity, we do our budget is very low, about 12,000 a month, right? It's very low compared with the activity that we have. Why? Because most our people who work here is very much on voluntary basis, so we don't pay any money to them. So the labor cost mostly is only for security and for the cleaning service, basically. The rest of them, the executive director and the staff, no money for them. So inshallah, your money, if donate to us, is very effective. We use for the masjid fully, inshallah. So today, inshallah, we can get 5,000 a month to visit. If we can a couple months being paid today by you guys, inshallah, will be good. Anybody can donate $2,000, $2,000, $2,000. Anybody? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Okay, inshallah, we just about 5 minutes, 7 minutes after that. Okay, $1,000. $1,000. Anybody? $1,000. MashaAllah, $1,000. Mata, inshallah. Okay, and then another $1,000. $1,000. Okay, anybody? Okay, I will do more quickly, inshallah. How about $700? $700. Anybody? Inshallah, brother and sister, your money will be a very good investment, inshallah. The money that you spend with a lot of benefit to the community and for the masjid, inshallah. Okay, how about $500? $500. $500. $500. Anyone? Come on. Okay, I don't want to take your time too much. $200. $200. Any? $200. Okay, $200. Okay, how about if everybody can get $100? Everyone, $100. You can pay by Zelle, you can pay by check, you can pay by cash, inshallah. Okay, jazakallah, brother. MashaAllah, jazakallah, Akbar, jazakallah. Okay, $100. Okay, anybody? Another $100? On that 3 day, okay, MashaAllah, on that $3 a day. $3 a day, inshallah. Okay, that's all, brother. Inshallah, we'll do whatever you can. Inshallah, your money will be benefit for us, inshallah. And then, you can pay by cash, pay by check, drop it on the deposit box, inshallah. Just stop there. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Jazakallah khair to Brother Aji and to Brother Sayyid, mashallah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our Ramadans and our Jum'ahs and our fasting and our prayer, inshallah. There's a couple of announcements, inshallah. On Saturday, we have the high school session. So for your high schoolers, those that have high school students, please join us, inshallah, on Saturday at 6 o'clock. It's the pre-iftar program for us into enriching our Ramadan experience. So high schoolers at 6 o'clock Saturday in the auditorium before iftar. And for young adults, 20s and 30s gang, Bismillah, that's on 6 o'clock on Sunday. 6 o'clock on Sunday before iftar for your 20s and your 30s in towards having a more enriching Ramadan experience, inshallah. Saturday as well, inshallah, we're going to initiate our Qiyam convoys. So the idea is so that we can experience all the different experiences in the SoCal Ramadan experience. One of them is the Qiyam nights. So we have overnight Qiyam, praying, speakers, food vendors. This one in particular, we're going to go to Islamic Society of Orange County, inshallah, for high schoolers and up. If you're interested, please let me know, inshallah, so we can help. We can, rearrange for transportation, inshallah ta'ala. And as well, I just wanted to give a shout out to everyone, mashallah, for everyone who's being here and just supporting the community and just helping things run things, inshallah ta'ala, towards a greener Ramadan that we've been experiencing. May Allah reward everyone. And do check out, we have daily iftar and daily tarawih. And also, Brother Saeed is holding up his Islamic relief table. So do check us out, inshallah ta'ala. Keep us in your du'as and your donations, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
If you donate using Zelle, go to donation@infola.com. Donation@imfola.org. Right here. imfola.org. Donation. Just a word. Rather than using phone, just using email address.
Good.